Hi, I'm the Moroccan Angel, and I'm here to help others set things right with their Maker. Hi, so these past few weeks I've been covering the topic of atheism. I am wrapping things up a bit, but if you have any questions that you'd like for me to address, just let me know in the comments. Now, the reason that I'm speaking concerning this topic is to generate some sense of self-awareness. As I stated in previous videos, there are some who are claiming to be atheists, but they're not really genuine atheists. There's a difference. There are those whom the Creator has literally cut off from His presence. Everyone can see it around them. Everyone else but them. I don't want to necessarily deal with these types of individuals. That's not my purpose for creating this video. I do want it to be known, first and foremost, that my loyalties lie with the Creator. He takes precedence over His creation. And He alone has the ability to open and shut the eyes. The truth of the matter is, you definitely did something to offend Him. Usually these are the individuals that carry or demonstrate the traits that I'm about to address. Now, there's another group that is genuinely seeking to know and experience an encounter with the Creator. These are the individuals that I am seeking to connect with. And let me tell you, He definitely has a way of introducing Himself and making His presence known. So one of the things that I've noticed is that atheists tend to discredit the ancient scriptures as fairy tales and the like. But that's a rather inaccurate way to approach historically written documents from ancient civilizations. We're talking documented accounts of individuals who are or have claimed to have a supernatural experience with the Creator of man. How is that sensible to just disregard historical text that we can learn from, but a couple of misfits are going to disregard it because they don't understand it or haven't experienced it? You have a being that is said to do catastrophic damage to ancient civilizations with the capability of reconstructing the very mind of man. And you're going to just fluff that off because you haven't experienced it? Or because in your own little box you haven't experienced, and so you're on this mission to convince others that it's not true? Despite the many others who have experienced it. The reality of the presence of this powerful being. So let's get into this. We're going to take a closer look at the characteristics that are common to atheists. So one of the most common traits that I find with atheists is arrogance. They're not humble. Arrogance is generally marked by arising from a feeling or assumption of one's superiority towards others, and in this particular instance, towards the Creator. There was a man named Stephen Hawking, and one of the things that he said was, we would know everything that God would know. And he was saying this in the context of his contributions to physics and other things. Stephen Hawking declared before dying that we would know everything that God would know. And he, in no uncertain terms, expressed his continued disbelief in the existence or concept of a God. Now, here's an individual who is unable, or who was, because he's dead now, who was unable to feed himself. He had no control over other bodily functions. He was unable to walk or speak normally. He was crippled by a disease, of which he never found the cure. So, just for the record, he did not know everything God knows, because he certainly didn't find the cure for the disease that struck him and took him to the grave. I have come to understand that atheists do not believe in the supernatural. They do not believe in the manifestation or events attributed beyond scientific understanding or the laws of nature. So we're talking no ghosts, no afterlife, no miracles. In truth, it's all hidden from their eyes. And it makes sense because it's an element of truth. And the Creator is truth, meaning He knows the truth regarding any and all situations. Now, the arrogance of the atheist is often displayed in their assumed authority, speaking disrespectfully against the Creator and His judgments. They depend on and have great confidence in their own intellect and experiences to the extent that they remove any possibility of being wrong. Hawking went to his grave denying the Creator, but I'm absolutely certain he's not doing that now. The truth is, we're all human, and that means we don't know everything. There are certain things that we cannot 100% rely on our own personal intellect when making certain judgments. There must be a collective evaluation or examination to explore or investigate certain phenomena. In this case, the supernatural, the existence of God. There must be the ability to collectively gather information concerning this. It's not just something isolated to your own personal experiences, but the experiences of others as well. This includes biblical accounts. And in doing so, you must have the ability to properly process these varying accounts because, yes, it's true, people do lie and there are misunderstandings and so forth, but you can't just base it all on you when making a decision like this. Just because you haven't experienced it, or you can't come to the conclusion that it's not real and everybody else's experiences are false or untrue, because you're not the gatekeeper of truth. That's a flawed way of evaluating information. Now, the second characteristic that I found to be common amongst atheists is anger. Now, there's a number of reasons for this. Some claim to have a quote-unquote epiphany when something they were praying for, like really quote-unquote praying for, didn't happen. Like the death of a loved one, or they weren't healed. They really wanted to be healed of something, and they weren't healed. They didn't experience it. Or a religious clergy or representative of the faith hurt them or violated their trust. It could be a myriad of reasons behind the anger, but what's disconcerting is that it interferes with their ability to have a decent conversation. And I understand that anger can also be somewhat of a defense mechanism. But when you're given to hurling insults and displaying ill-mannered, childish behavior, or someone who automatically resorts to insults when challenged intellectually in regard to their beliefs, right off the bat, you're dealing with someone who is of subpar intelligence because they've not mastered maturity and advancement from how an ill-mannered or undisciplined child would react. This is also an individual with low emotional intelligence. One of the things that make an adult human is the ability to communicate effectively and express your thoughts in a way that brings about clarity and truth, not only for your own sake, but for the sake and the good of humanity as a whole. You're either one who contributes to the good of humanity, or you're one who operates to destroy it. One of the things that was set in motion in the Garden of Eden was when Adam and Eve succumbed to the enticement of the serpent, it was the embracing of a lie. It brought about the distortion of truth. And so there's this internal striving of humanity to get to the truth of things. And that can only be found in its purest form with the Creator. Because you know the serpent lied, right? It started off lying, stating, "You shall not surely die." But we see that that wasn't true. Just as the Creator declared, "You shall surely die." One thing that is necessary, if you have the sense and wherewithal to do this, find out why you're so angry at the idea of there being a supreme being. Do a self-evaluation and become self-aware and discover what is at the root of the anger. Deal with that, because if you're wrong, which there is a highly likely degree that you are, but hey, you don't have to take my word for it. But if you're wrong and you try to fall back on, well, the Creator is all loving, He's benevolent, He'll forgive me for using offensive, blasphemous language against Him. And this is usually what's done on the deathbed. But I will tell you right now, according to the ancient scriptures, you're wrong. He is not, quote unquote, all loving, and He will not pardon you. This is your warning right here and now to watch your mouth. You will give an account, and you will be held responsible for the words you speak. And as I said before, the offense is not wondering if there's a God. The offense is in the insults and the disrespect. And again, if you do not understand yourself as to why you've chosen this path, there's a problem. Because for some of you, the answer is revealed within the why. Now, the final thing that I've noticed is that atheists lack good judgment. And some might say, well, I know some really smart atheists. No, you don't. Wisdom comes from the Creator. Sure, an atheist can learn ABCs, but the ability to discern or judge what is true, right, and lasting comes from the Creator. Consider Stephen Hawking, a man who was intellectually labeled as an English theoretical physicist, cosmologist, and author who was director of research at the Center of Theoretical Cosmology at the University of Cambridge, on an island called Island of Sin, also known as the island in which Jeffrey Epstein conducted sexual perversion with minors. It's associated with the abuse of young girls. Tell me, what type of person goes and enjoys themselves or vacations in a place where others are suffering in their midst? This isn't right. It isn't moral. How can an atheist be moral when morality not only involves the judgment of what is right or wrong, but the consistent conforming to the standards of what is right or just in behavior, according to the laws of the Creator? You can't pick and choose which behaviors you'll comply with. according to what's convenient for you. What is this? You're moral, or you're a moral person because you donated to charity, or you contributed to the expansion of intelligence to humanity, but you engage in sexual perversion? No. You can periodically demonstrate a moral act, but that doesn't make you a moral person. A healthy, sane adult male is not going around engaging in sexual perversion with young girls who are not fully grown adults. See, I've interacted with a number of atheists who their judgment is off. Some find it difficult to acknowledge basic truths. For example, I was communicating with an atheist and they said to me, proof and evidence are not the same. And so I kindly sent the definition of proof, which is literally defined as evidence. And they denied even this. At this point, it's time to check out. Because when you have someone who's declaring, I want proof, and they don't even know what the word means and don't care to know, it's time to just step back and exit the building. Evidence is a thing or a set of things helpful in forming a conclusion or judgment. Something that is an indication or a sign which helps in forming a conclusion. The atheist is under the belief that they get to decide and determine what is valid evidence, even though they lack the ability to properly discern and judge the presence of God. So then it comes down to what you hear every atheist chant. Where's the evidence? Show me the evidence. They're going to ask this because they are blind, spiritually blind, or spiritually inept, if you will. They are not only at a state where they are not in tune or connected to their own spirits, but they are incapable of seeing the beauty and wonder of the Creator of spirits. If you are such a person listening to my voice, you did something to offend your Maker, to the extent that He has hidden His presence from you. This is not a good place to be in. Just keep living and you'll see why. Worse when you die. I'm not going to try and scare you with the Christian hellfire tactics, because I'm going to be brutally blunt with you. He is terror enough. Have you ever considered just a simple, quote-unquote simple, toothache? Let's take a moment and think about all of the nerves, the brain, all the components that plays into that toothache. The Creator. Now, I know some of you are saying, oh, I can deal with the pain. I'm tough. Just think of the construct. If He can design and construct something as minute to some as a throbbing toothache, do you not think that He is capable of making your worst nightmare a reality? And if you don't have one, He's capable of creating one for you? Can you imagine having an unending toothache? No medicine, no dentist, no dropout, just pain? And you have the nerve to speak irreverently against Him? So one of the biggest things is that atheists don't believe in the supernatural, because once there's evidence of the supernatural, you then have to acknowledge the possibility of a supernatural being. When speaking of supernatural, it's pertaining to not existing in nature or subject to explanation according to natural laws, not physical or material. It relates to forces or beings that exist outside of the natural world. And I'm going to say this. Anyone who denies that there has been supernatural phenomena throughout human existence is either blatantly lying, uneducated concerning this aspect of life, or just no. There are so many accounts of supernatural occurrences throughout history. And I admit that not everyone get to experience these encounters, but they certainly can't be denied. I can't even really begin to go into the evidence of the supernatural, the many accounts in my life and historical investigations and accounts. It's not a hallucination when 2 or 3 or more individuals are seeing it as well, and they're not on drugs. I personally do not take drugs or mind-altering substances. I'm just really hesitant, even with prescription or over-the-counter, because I value my sanity and my my awareness. But I myself have encountered countless supernatural events. And for the most part, I'm pretty sane. I mean, I try to be. Now, the ancient scriptures state that the fool says in his heart that there is no God. This is a warning. You've begun and now walk the path of the cursed. You can either keep going boldly, angrily, and foolishly, which would indeed prove that you are in fact a true atheist, or you can pause for a moment on that path and ask, how did I get here? And backtrack a bit. Become self-aware. Why do you believe what you have come to believe? Is it because you didn't find the answers that you were looking for? Or perhaps someone representing the faith violated principles of the faith that impacted you in a negative way, and you've turned that anger and hurt towards the Creator. Or maybe you've discovered that the religion you followed wholeheartedly believed in was a farce. Whatever the reason, I can help you find the answers. Why? Because I go to the one who knows all things, the Creator. I seek His wisdom, and I'm not just saying this because I'm on medication or I forgot to take my pills this morning. No. I've actually interacted with Him, and I think it's safe to say that I know Him, at least what He has permitted me to know of Him. But know this, I'm not here to convince you that He exists, because I know He exists. But I want you to be aware that He alone opens the mind to the awareness of Him. I can inform you concerning Him and His ways, if you're of the mind to know. But if anything, you owe it to yourself to make an informed decision, because when you die, you're dead, and you don't get a quote-unquote do-over. If you're interested, you can schedule a consultation with me, or if you're just curious about the Creator and you would like to walk through the ancient scriptures to discover more about Him, I invite you to join the Truth Seekers. The Truth Seekers is a Bible study group membership, and we meet monthly online, or you have the option to meet in person. You receive 2 study packages a month, and then we meet to discuss the given topic. It's a great opportunity to learn and grow in the truth of discovering the ancient scriptures and what they reveal about the Creator. If you're serious about your spiritual journey and you're tired of feeling around in the dark, going from one interpretation to the next, from false teachers and those who vaguely know certain aspects about the Creator, but they don't know Him, there's a big difference, then please sign up if you're interested. And you can visit my website at meeka6.com. You can also schedule a free consultation with me to see if we're a good fit, if I can even be of help to you. I'm the Moroccan Angel. Remember to do what's right. Always. It matters.